Hello YouTube. It is my 8th video today, and I'm just going to be led in the Spirit again, talking about my life and my personal testimony. I don't have any passages off the top of my head in particular that I want to share. But I feel the Lord moving me to speak, and I have no idea what I'm going to say. So let's find out together. I do know that I need to talk about how I overcame bulimia, because it's a huge part of my testimony, and I kind of left my last video kind of hanging, kind of cliffhanger style. I have never told anybody I never confessed to anybody that I struggled with that. That was the first time. And posting it on the internet like that, it took a lot out of me. From the time I made that video to now, and even now, I still feel really drained and exhausted, because it's embarrassing, it's shameful, and I'm not wanting to even talk about it, but it's something that the Lord really is moving me to talk about, because so many kids struggle with that, and teenagers and adults, and I want to, there's someone out there that I'm gonna help, whether it be just from watching my videos, or maybe they'll reach out to me, and we'll chit chat and, you know, message each other. And you know, I encourage you, if anyone, please, if anyone knows of somebody, you know, a friend, or if it's you yourself that is struggling with bulimia, I am more than willing to talk with you. However, if you're a child, I strongly encourage you to not ever talk to strangers online, even though I am telling you that I'm willing and able to help. But if you don't know me, you need to be talking to your parents, and maybe together we can figure something out where your parents contact me, and we can go that route. Because don't ever talk to strangers, even if they're genuine. You think that they're genuine. The internet is very dangerous, and that's something that I am very passionately, you know, very strong about teaching my children. You never know who you're dealing with, even though I'm telling you that I would never hurt you. Still, I just don't encourage you to reach out to strangers online. But part of my testimony isn't just for children, it's for adults as well. And there's a lot of people of all ages that I feel the Lord is calling me to reach out to. So I'm just going to share my story, and just see what the Lord wants me to say. So it started with that video that I watched, like I had mentioned, and it provoked me to want to do it. And so I got into it, and it came and went. When I was doing that, I would maybe for like 6 months be involved in that, and then maybe a few months I'd stop, because I knew it was wrong. The whole time I knew it was wrong. And the massive influence and peer pressure and just everything that I went through growing up, from movies to Barbies to you know, the media and seeing on TV, the exposure to the conformity of the image of beauty, that all of that was thrown at me so severely that so many kids, especially in America, I don't know how other countries are, but I know America especially, you know, we're really heavily conditioned, and you know, there's going to be people that don't agree with me, and that's fine. This is my testimony, and this is what I went through, and this is what I believe in. We have to be careful what our children are being exposed to. We have to get involved in their life and know who their friends are and the activities that they're participating in. And for a long time, I was so upset that I wasn't able to spend the night. Like, I could spend the night as a kid at people's houses, but once I went to high school, for some reason, like, it didn't make sense to me why all of a sudden in high school I wasn't allowed to spend the night anywhere. Now I know. Because my parents were being awesome in protecting me. Because there was so much going on in high school that was bad. And the, I'm going to get into, my high school, experiences and everything, in time. And I don't mean to be rambling, but I'm just trying to think of what I'm going to say next. So, please be very careful. And the world is so different today than how it was from when I was a kid. Like, so much worse. And from my generation, the gap between my generation and my parents' generation, it's so different from what it was. So I can't even imagine if I were to put my kids in school, what they would be exposed to. And again, you can't protect them from everything, I know, but I'm going to do my best, my darndest best, to do what the Lord has equipped me to do and allowed me to do. I am very privileged that my husband is working and providing for us so that I can stay home. I know that there's so many women out there that don't have that privilege. That, like, I worked as a mom too. I haven't always been a stay-at-home mom. I have so much to say in my story. I'm trying to keep it kind of chronological, but if I bounce back and forth, you know, and I hope you stay with me and understand. So I used to work quite a bit, and I had an encounter with God. A very intimate encounter with God that I will share in the future, that led me to, you need to be at home and you need to homeschool. And we'll get to that in time. But right now, talking about overcoming bulimia, I went through that from 8th grade, the end of 8th grade, and the last flare-up, if you will, of participating in that and doing that was, I want to say, I was maybe 25 or 26 possibly. So it like came and went for 13 years. I struggled with it. And I've never told anybody. Because why would you, you know, like, I knew it was so wrong, and I was so ashamed, and I was so embarrassed. And this is a really huge problem that kids are dealing with, and even adults are dealing with, because it was in my adulthood too. When I stopped, now that I think about it, it was the same time when I was born again. I never understood what born again meant until it happened to me. And in time, I'm going to reveal that story. But I was born again. I was always, like, it's hard to explain. See, I grew up with Christian parents and in the church, and I always had a passion for the Lord, and I was always a believer. But there was a falling away that happened in periodically in adolescence and even stronger at the end of my teenage years and early to mid-20s, I was not living a godly life whatsoever. And when I got married and I purchased, I'm going to give you a little preview. I'm not going to go into depth, but after I got married and I purchased a study Bible, and I really got into reading the Bible, like really reading it and like crying out to God and rending my heart. Look up the definition of rend, R-E-N-D. It's in the Bible a lot. When you do that, when you rend your heart to God, because it takes intense pain and heartache and honest sincerity that you want the Lord in your life, and He will come to you. And that's what happened to me. I know your stories are going to be different, but that's when I was born again, and some supernatural things happened to me. Some things that you guys are going to doubt and not believe, and that's fine. This is my testimony. This is truth, and I'm not ashamed of the gospel. And find out what the gospel really is. I mean, honestly, read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Like, read them all. Like, all. And you know what has helped me? Listening, like, I use YouTube a lot. If you YouTube the King James Version of whatever book that you're reading and listen to it and follow along as you go, that's really helped me, because it's just a different way of getting the word, hearing it, and not just reading it. And I spend time reading out loud sometimes, and it's just a new experience. It's really cool when you're listening to it, and then you can push pause, and then if you hear something from the Lord, if you are moved to like, okay, I can apply this to this part of my life or that part of my life, or, oh, that's what that meant. Even though you have read it like 10 times before, you'll always learn something new. Guarantee. The Word is alive. The Word became flesh. This is one of my favorite things that happened to me. I think it's John chapter 1, verse 1. The Word became flesh, I believe. The more I read my Bible, I'll show you guys in another video, but the more I read my Bible, it became soft. And it used to be hard and firm, and I was in the Word every day, and I still pretty much, ever since I was born again. So I am almost 30 years old, so it's been like 5 years now that I've been born again. Reading the Bible so much, the same Bible, it became kind of like flesh-like, like when I moved my Bible around. And it hit me, that verse came to me, and I was like, wow. It just gave me chills, because I thought of that passage. I'm like, it really feels like you're touching somebody. Like, I know it's crazy, but I have a lot of different experiences that some people might wonder, is she okay? But I get really excited when God shows me stuff like that. So, so what else, Lord? What else should I share? Give me the words to say. Yeah, I encourage you, if you are a parent, to, I know it's going to be hard, you know what, pray for your kids. You know, that's the best thing you can do, even if you don't know all the things that are really going on with your children, because I know I didn't want to tell everything to my parents, you know, like even when I was struggling with bulimia, I was so ashamed and embarrassed, I didn't want to tell anyone. So, pray that if there's something going on with your child that is wrong, you know, ask God to reveal it to you, and ask Him how you can help and what you can do. And to me, the best thing is to to make time with them, because when I see it in my past as well as being a mother, that when they lash out and are naughty and distant, it's when they need you the most. So if you have kids that just don't want to talk to you and they just are being rude and disrespectful, it's gonna push you away. I understand. It's gonna make you not want to talk to them and be like, fine, you know, have your little hissy fit and get away from me. If you're gonna be so rude and hurtful and disrespectful, they need you the most. Like, that's when they need a hug the most. That's when they need you to drop everything that you're doing and figure out something that you both can do together. I had some advice from a psychologist that is in my family that recommended doing an interactive activity, like board games or playing cards or, you know, playing pool or going for a walk, you know, doing something where you're doing an activity, but you're doing it together. Fishing, go swimming, go something where you are actively doing something together. And the cell phone epidemic that is in the world today, it's God is disgusted by it, and I'll confess that I need to work on it too. I can be on my phone a lot. Put the phones down, you guys. Says the person who's holding a phone recording a video, right? But it's true. Put your phone down. Have your kids put their phones down. And have family time. Even if it's once a week, it really should be every day. For an hour. I mean, if you can't do that, you're more busy than you should be, and the devil is working in your life trying to distract you from what your real job is. And that's your family. We need to reprioritize and think about our priorities. And know that the Lord gave you your spouse and your children, and they deserve your time and attention. Don't be looking at the TV or the cell phone when they're talking to you. You put that down, you turn that TV off, and you look them in the eye. And you respond to what they say. Because they're human beings. And they need you. Love them. Find out what love is and make time for them and pay attention to them. And you drop everything you're doing and make time for them. Because it's going to be worth it. Believe me, it's going to be worth it. So I am going to leave it at that. And I pray, Lord, that you breathe knowledge, wisdom, and understanding upon everyone watching. And that if there's anyone out there that needs help, I pray, Lord, that they receive the help that they need. And I pray that they're not afraid or ashamed to get the help they need, because bulimia is a very serious condition, and it can really damage your body, and it's not healthy at all. So I pray that all you parents out there are obedient unto the Lord in what you're supposed to be doing in your marriage and in your parenting. And it's not easy. It's not hard. We all make mistakes. That's what grace is for, you know. We're forgiven. You're forgiven, okay? I'm forgiven. You're forgiven. And believe it, please. Believe it. Parenting is hard. It's hard, and you're doing the best you can, and God is going to help you. Ask Him. Ask Him and rend your heart unto Him and repent and get into your Bible and start reading it and start praying like you never prayed before. God bless you all. Thanks for watching.